once again. It's called A Math Adventure, Circumference, and the Fracton Faire. Okay? Let me get things straight before I get in trouble tonight with my English folks tonight. If you can see, the title of the book is not called Fraction, Fraction. Okay? But it's a play on words. So it's Fracton, fracton. So I'm not mispronouncing fractions. The word is fracton, Fracton, fair, Faire. So we're going to figure out why they're talking about that. And I love the play on math words they have here in this series. As I talked about last week, the main character is Circumference. He's one of the knights of the Round Table. And of course, his wife's name is Lady Di of Amateur. So Diameter. And of course, guess what his son's name is? The third main character in some of the books is named Radius. So we got Lady Diameter and we have his son Radius. And together they come up with this series. And tonight's topic is fractions. And the author of these wonderful books, Cindy Nushenwander, illustrated by Wayne Jihan. You won't be able to see the words, but that's not the important part. The important part is looking at the illustrations, because I'm going to be reading the words anyway when you play this back, or those that's watching with me tonight. I'm just excited about this one right here. It's going to be a twist tonight, because we have, for the first time, some real bad guys in the story tonight. So please, 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 James Brown, please, pay close attention. And if you look at the illustrations carefully tonight, you're going to see the thieves taking from the actual fair. What I'm going to need your help tonight is this. Since I am talking about fractions, if you hear me say a fraction, or if you see a fraction in one of the pictures, I'm going to ask you to put it in the chat for me. So I want to see if you are paying attention, listening. Number two, if you see what I see. And then what we're going to do, we're going to make a number line with fractions. And understand, when we talk about fractions tonight, we're going to be talking about numbers that's going to be in between 0 and 1. Numbers that's going to be in between 0 and 1. Okay? And the main one that we all know is half. Okay? And of course, you know, half has to pop up somewhere in our story. So if you're with me, here we go. Fine fabrics, fresh cheese, bah, bah. It was the opening morning of the Fracton Faire. Such a merry atmosphere, said Lady Di of Amateur. She and Circumference strolled jauntily through the crowds with their friend Reginald Parton, the Earl of Fracton. The two men stopped to watch a sword swallower while Lady Di wandered over to the cloth merchant's booth. She ran her hand over a length of fabric. How perfectly soft, she exclaimed. The merchant smiled. You can buy all or part, she said, pointed to the sign above her. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. What do those numbers mean? Lady Di asked. They're fracton numbers, my lady. They are used to measure equal pieces of something, such as this beautiful cloth. Don't forget, right now I guess said 4 different fractions. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. So right now you should have those in the chat. Why is one number below the other? Asked Lady Di. The bottom number is called the denominator, the seller explained. It shows how many parts are in a whole. She drew lines on the material with a soap sliver, dividing the fabric into equal sections. 4 in all, asked Lady Di. Yes, my lady, answered the woman. That's what the bottom number means, she said, pointing again to the sign. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. And if I want just one part of the 4, asked Lady Di, the numerator or top number tells me how many parts of the cloth you want. In this case, it would be 1, said the woman. She printed the fracton number 1/4 on the first section of the cloth. That's 1/4, replied the merchant. And 2 parts of the 4 would be 2/4. 3 parts of the 4 are 3/4, and the entire length is 4/4, or 1 whole. We're talking about fractions. Or they're talking about fracton. Lady Di smiled. I'm partial to the red fabric. Have you any? The merchant nodded and bent down. Odd. My red material seems to be missing. I'm so sorry, my lady. She excused herself and hurried away to check with the neighboring cloth sellers. At this point, Cumference and the Earl approached, each hungry enough to eat half a horse. Get it? Half a horse? Soft curds here, bellowed a portly cheesemonger. Wheel of cheese, part or whole? I'll take 1/2 of that, Winsdale will, said the Earl. Oh, wow. Okay, I don't know if you can see the, yeah, you can picture he has 1/3 and 2/6 on one group of cheese. He has 1/2, 2/4, and 4/8 on another wheel of cheese. He has 2/3 and 4/6 on a wheel of cheese. And he has 2/2, 3/3, and 4/4. And of course, if you know any time that your numerator and your denominator is the same, when those two are the same, we call that 1 whole. So 2/2, 3/3, 4/4 is going to give us 1 whole. I'd like 2/4 of the Cheshire wheel, said Lady Di. She thought of her lesson on numerators. 2 pieces meant she could save 1 for later. I'm so hungry, I'll have this much of the Stilton, said Cumference, pointing to 4/8 on the sign. He thought the bigger numbers meant more cheese, but when the portions were cut, they were the same amount. Okay. So now they're talking about equivalent fractions. They're equivalent, explained the cheesemonger. The Stilton is cut into smaller pieces, so there are more of them. Here, I'll cut the cheddar wheel and you'll see. Wait a second. Where is the cheese wheel? Missing cheese? Lady Di remembered the missing red cloth. Was it just a coincidence? First, red cloth is missing, and now the cheddar cheese wheel is missing. Wonder what's going on here. Pay close attention and we'll figure out what is going on. Put in the chat for me real quick. What do you think is going on? What do you think is going on? Interesting. Okay. Tucked away from the hubbub, 6 men were divvying up a round of tangy cheddar and looking over a pile of other stolen goods from the fair. Oh, no. These are the robbers, the thieves. Well done, lads, bad old Barnaby said to his brigade band. We've picked some right proper stuff, we have. Spread out beside them were meats, breads, ales, yarn, fabric, purses, coins, and 4 fluffy sheep. They got everything. That cloth was the easiest picking I've did pilfer, chortled one of Barnaby's men. They're taking from these merchants. That's not fair. That's mean. Hopefully the sheriff will get them and put them in jail, because stealing is wrong. By now, almost everyone at the fair was missing something. People surrounded the Earl, all talking at once. The Earl's head shearer pushed forward. My lord, he exclaimed, 1/3 of your finest sheep are missing. We had a dozen to clip, but 4 are gone. Thieves, growled the Earl. Thieves. They desire easy gain. Let's think like a thief so we can catch the culprit. I don't think he realizes more than one. Do you think he's going to catch the thieves? What do you think? A plan was quickly hatched. It's a long shot, but it just might work. Our puppeteer will set the trap, the Earl said, and Fracton numbers would do 9/10 of the work. At high noon, the performance began. It featured Fracton's 2 favorite puppets, the diminutive half pint and the sizable Pottle. Oh, Pottle, a huge golden coin. Let's fly up there and grab it. Such a half-baked idea is no surprise coming from a half-wit like you. The audience roared with laughter. Perhaps a kind member of our audience could get the coin for us. On the whole, not a half bad idea unless he or she is partly tempted to keep it. You got that right, Barnaby snickered, poking one of his mates in the ribs. The brigand band had returned to enjoy the performance. So now the bad guys are back watching this performance. So hopefully they'll fall for the Earl's trap. I've got a half-mad idea. Let's give the coin to the person who finds the largest Fracton number. Slips like this one are half-hidden all over the fair. Bring your findings here by 2:30. Our 1/6 tells us we'll have a winner. The audience sprang into action. A gold sovereign was enough money to buy a small farm. Oh, okay. Once again, anytime that you hear a fraction, make sure you write in the chat. I want you to pay attention, or if you see one in the picture. So right now, they're ready to go on a fraction hunt. The thief will want the coin, the Earl said to Cumference and Lady Di. We had no stealing before the fair began, so we think the thief is an outsider to Fracton. And you wagered that an outsider would think a number like the 1/16 is bigger than something like a 1/3 because the denominator is larger, said Lady Di. Mine's bigger, 8/9. No, mine's bigger, 9/11. We'll talk about that soon, too. I made that mistake myself, admitted Cumference. Now I realize that the larger the denominator, the smaller each part is. The higher the numerator, the more parts there are. I want to read that again. I made a mistake myself, admitted Cumference. I realized that the larger the denominator, the smaller each part is. The higher the numerator, which is the top number, the denominator is down below. The higher the numerator, the more parts there are. So let's see what these individuals are going to do. I think this is a cool idea. I might try this with my students. People were having fun searching. Fracton numbers were discovered in unusual places. A small girl noticed a 7/9 between two slices of bread. This could be the winning number, she said excitedly. Barnaby and his band kept their eyes peeled for Fracton numbers. They observed the woman unwrapping a half, 1/2, from around a wool wax jar. But they dismissed it. Too small, Barnaby told his men. Ah, boy, they don't realize that they're falling for a trap. A young boy and his father spotted a 132 slip. Such a tiny Fracton number, moaned the boy. Leave it, son, his father said. No one would be stupid enough to want that. They left it on the lunch table where Barnaby took it. Don't forget, Barnaby is the bad guy. So he fell for the trap. Ho, ho, lads, he chuckled. We're the lucky ones now. We are. Big numbers. This must be the winning ticket. One over 32. 1/32. All right, here they go, all lined up right here. The tower bells rang at 2:30. Would everyone with a slip step forward? The Earl asked. And please line up by number side. So they're creating a number line of fractions. I'm here in the middle, said the woman with 1/2. Yes, 1/2 will be in the middle of our number line. Mine's a bit larger than 1/2, said the boy with 5/8. This one is larger still, I think, said the little girl with 7/9. The slip holders jostled about, but finally everyone was in order, with Barnaby proudly standing on one end with 1/32. And sweet little Madeline Elizabeth Holdpart on the other side with 1/1. And once again, when you have 1/1, that is called one whole. Anytime your numerator and your denominator are the same, that is one whole. The gentleman with 1/32 called the puppet master. As the holder of the smallest Fracton number, you may award the gold coin to the winner, who holds the one whole slip. No! No! Screeched Barnaby. My number is the biggest. The coin's mine. He ran toward the gold sovereign. The Earl blocked him. Defeated, Barnaby and his brigand band turned and fled. Yes, they left. They were too fast, the Earl said, returning to the puppet theater after a fruitless chase, so they got away. But we found the stolen goods. Yes, woo, at least they found the stolen goods. Those half-dozen ruffians were a whole heap of trouble, said Cumference. But they fell to pieces in the end, exclaimed the Earl happily. All right. So at least it's a happy ending. So they got all the merchants got all their stuff back. So I'm happy about that. Ooh, I was worried about that. Last page right here. The village of Fracton and its Earl continued to be famous for sheep, the fair, and the unique way they wrote their numbers. Those numbers became known as a Fracton in England. People used them when they wanted to represent parts of things. Today we call them fractions. Always a play on words. Always a play on words. And I love it. Today's book, once again, is called A Math Adventure, Cumference, and the Fracton Faire.